Welcome, everyone, to this Week 8 edition of Bruce Monnin's Computer Points. I'm Bruce Monnin, your host, recording from the home studio in Minster, Ohio, home of those 5-3 Minster Wildcats. Also checking in from the greater Cincinnati area, we have our co-host, chief researcher, and executive producer, Rebekah Monnin.
Happy to be here. Happy to talk to you.
Now that Rebekah has been properly introduced to recognize her own contributions and talents, we can mention that our 24th ranked 5-1 Cincinnati Bearcats were 20-11 winners over the hated University of Central Florida last week.
I was wondering why you didn't mention UC at all after that win, but this makes sense now. This makes sense now.
This week, I believe, is a prime time 8 o'clock game, probably on some not so prime time channel against the Oklahoma State University. And I believe I saw Cincinnati was like a 3-touchdown favorite. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Oklahoma State, and I barely know anything about UC's play style, but it feels just out of notoriety like we might have an edge there.
We might. How well we do playing in the state of Oklahoma could be another matter, but
Yeah.
as of right now, hopes are running high.
Yeah, we've been doing fairly well as underdogs. I don't know how we'll do when we've got only ourselves to let down.
Only ourselves to let down.
We'll see.
So that's the main excitement on the college football front, other than other schools are firing coaches right and left.
Oof.
And I just saw that Penn State fired their coach, and the buyout that they had to pay him to go away was more than the budget of every Division III athletic program in the country.
Yeah. It's not really a bad deal to be fired from a football team
No. What do you
as
mean
the
I'm
head
fired?
coach.
Oh, here's a check for $45 million. Okay.
Oh no, guess I'm
Oh,
fired. Think I'll go retire now.
I'll go into sportscasting now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do the fun jobs now. Oh my gosh.
Oh, James Franklin will be up in the booth doing the stats for some team somewhere and making 45 million a year more than I do doing that.
Right. But if everyone with a job makes more than you do.
Oh, that's a fun number, I tell you. 45 million.
45 million. Sure.
There's that 401k coming there, Rebekah. You got 45 million in there yet?
It's fairly healthy for my age group, but not 45 million.
Anything else we
Need.
need to talk about before we head into week 9 of the Ohio high school football season?
Uh, well, I've heard people rely on my figure skating updates, so I've got to satisfy the fans. Last week wasn't anything groundbreaking. It was another performance, this time out in Georgia, was
Or
the
to the
host
country or the
country,
state? The
the
country. Okay.
country. Challenger Series, it was the last one before the Grand Prix kicks off. Nothing unpredictable happened there. But we can preview the Grand Prix series, which is like a baby step under the Worlds in terms of prestige. So it's going to be a series of, they'd have to look it up, but somewhere near 6, I think, qualifying competitions in the series, where 12 skaters in each discipline, 8 pairs and dance teams, I think, are chosen based off previous performance to compete against each other. So it's a compacted competition. And then over the course, after the 6 competitions are done, the 6 highest scoring individuals and I think 4 highest scoring dance teams and pairs teams will compete in the Grand Prix final. And that'll be about 2 months from now. So we're excited for the initial kickoff for the top skaters to show off their programs against each other. And next week is kicking off with the Grand Prix of France. So we've got the French team competing against various other people, including most of the top Americans. So it should be a good competition. Looking forward to it.
Busy trying to remember anything about the country of Georgia.
Um, Big
To,
news for
to,
figure skating is that it's coming up and up because the top figure skating coach from Russia can no longer coach in Russia because Russia is banned, but she happens to have dual citizenship with Georgia. So
just
shockingly,
happens,
Georgia's
huh?
gotten a lot of really good skaters in the last year too.
I knew it was in the Caucasus, but I didn't remember the capital was Tbilisi.
Tbilisi,
Not a
yeah.
city that comes up that often in
That is
our end
where
of the
the
world.
skating competition was held.
All right. So that's the extent of my part of research. The rest of it is, of course, Rebecca's job.
Ooh, seems like a beautiful place. All I knew about Georgia prior to, I don't know, a couple years ago was that they had a bobsledder who died at the Olympics like a decade ago.
Well, that's okay. I knew even worse. All I knew about it is that's where Joseph Stalin came from. He wasn't really a Russian. He was Georgian, by the way. So,
Mm. On the
although during
border with
World War II, he was really
Turkey.
big on Mother Russia instead of Mother Soviet Union when it came time to rally the country. So,
Mm.
strange man, Joseph Stalin. If you ever want to read a interesting biography, that was a strange man. But anyway,
Good times.
hopefully the figure skating coach, much better person.
Depends on who you ask. She gets results. Those skaters don't always turn out to be well-adjusted adults, let's just say it that way.
Oh, what a recruiting poster. Our figure skating coach may be a better person than Joseph Stalin. Okay.
Maybe your kid will either get gold or get a lot of trauma emotionally.
All right. Well, I think it's time to move on to the high school football front.
How about it?
We are through 8 weeks of the regular season. That means just two regular season games to go. This week, we have 9 teams who we are proclaiming to be newly playoff bound and 9 teams who are newly out of contention.
We've got some nice balancing of results going on here.
I was just thinking we've got a little symmetry going here this year.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we will start with a region where both the teams are playoff bound, Division One, Region Two, much like last week. Number two, Troy won. Number three, Findlay lost. And they stay. Well, Findlay stays just one spot behind Troy in the standings.
Huh.
Troy gains little from beating a winless team, but they still trail only Middletown, who's currently ranked number one. Middletown's a team who beat Troy 28-20 in week number one. So that could be a playoff rematch to look at down the line. If Troy can upset 8-0 Tip City Tippecanoe, it will probably vault Troy over Middletown into the number one seed, despite that week one loss. Findlay had a really good chance to claim that number one seed themselves, but they lost 35-33 to 7-1 Toledo Whitmer. If they get a win over 1-7 Sylvania Northview, which sounds a lot easier, that
It
should earn the
does.
Findlay Trojans a first round bye. How about that? Both teams we follow in this region are both the Trojans.
Have we not
Strange.
made that connection until now?
I have not. No.
Okay, we got our Liberty region, we got our Trojan region. Keep an eye
Um,
out for those Greeks.
do we have a Greek region somewhere?
I don't know.
I'm forgetting my history now.
Cincinnati?
Who was it that the Troy Trojans were fighting when they hid inside that big horse?
The Trojans didn't hide inside the big horse. The Greeks did.
So it was the Greeks hiding to take Troy, huh?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. You would think my history would be better than that. Shame on me. They never
Yeah,
taught that very well in high school, I don't think.
no. It's more of a literary thing. The Trojan War was mostly just a reason to throw the gods at each other and blame each other for a bunch of bad decisions. And
Oh,
then sit
okay.
outside a city wall for 10 years. Only do anything in the last like 6 months.
It was kind of like a 10-year long camping trip to get away from the families, right? For the troops.
Yeah, and then really throw out all of your morals. Yay, war.
There's
No
your
one
history
came out of
lesson for today.
no one came out of that war a hero. If someone tries to say one side was good, yeah, they're not saying it
That's
right.
That's not an unusual occurrence.
No.
Moving down to Division Two in Region 8. Maybe we'll find some good people here.
The Trojans on our podcast are good teams, though. You can root for them.
Good. All right. Good people there. All right. Let me think. I prefer Troy because there's a Skyline Chili there. Although there's a good ice cream shop in Findlay at the Deech's ice cream, right?
Which is interesting you mentioned there's a Skyline Chili in Troy because Skyline is Greek.
Yes, it is.
It's a little mini Trojan War all over again. Anyway, back. Should we cover Region 8 and
Well,
Division
I
2
was
or
just at a Skyline Chili on Sunday, but it was in between Troy and Findlay, though. It was in Lima, so
we're never gonna finish this podcast and we're only 10 minutes in.
I'm feeling like being off topic today for some reason.
Well, that'll be a fan favorite episode then.
Where were we? Division Two, Region 8, I believe. Um, in this region, the top 7 teams have clinched a postseason invitation. That leaves 5 spots open, and there are still 11 teams who have a chance to contest those spots. The number 7 ranked team, and therefore one of the teams who have locked down a playoff spot, is Lima Senior. They should win their final 2 games, and if so, they will end up seated about number 6 in this region, which should lead to the Spartans hosting some school from Cincinnati, probably Turpin or Aiken, in the first round of the playoffs. Our number 9 team is Piqua. They can lock up their playoff spot. They have a toss-up game this week, and a win over 5-3 Vandalia Butler gets them into the playoffs. A loss will have the Indians scoreboard watching in week 10 to see if their 60% chance to hold on to the number 12 seed comes true or not. That's not a comfortable position to be in when it happens to you. Just
No.
waiting for the scores to roll in.
It's a nice bit of tension for a movie or a TV show. It's not one you like doing in real life.
Some stories on that from the past, Rebekah, but I think we'll pass on those for the moment.
Maybe.
We'll move on to Division Three, Region 10. Top 9 teams in this region have clinched postseason berths. So only 3 playoff invitations are still available for the 11 teams who are still in contention for them. We'll start with undefeated number 2 Wapakoneta. They will finish no worse than 5th and most likely in the top 3. A win over 4-4 Elida guarantees that coveted top 4 spot and opening round bye. If they follow that up with a win over 7-1 Lima Bath, that should earn the Redskins the top seed. That game will also probably be for the Western Buckeye League Championship, so that'll be a big Week 10 game for Wapakoneta. Number 8, Lima Shawnee. We've mentioned previously they had already locked up a playoff spot. They should host their first round playoff game if they defeat 4-4 Van Wert. A loss for Shawnee in this game means a number 10 seed is likely. And if that happens, they are perhaps looking at a rematch of last week's 31-28 loss to St. Mary's. And that leads us, of course, to St. Mary's, who is ranked number 9 right now after that win over Lima Shawnee.
All
That
right.
earned the Rough Riders a playoff spot, that win. In order to have a good chance to host a postseason game, St. Mary's needs to beat both 1-7 Kenton, which sounds doable, and
hmm
4-4 Elida, which sounds a little tougher. Finally, Defiance gained 4 positions to move into the number 12 spot. They're on the good side of the playoff cut line. I tell you, that Defiance up and down all year long, but right now they're in a good place. They pulled a very mild upset, I would say, over 4-4 Elida last week, but they won 42-21, so quite dominating fashion. A victory in Week 10 over 2-6 Salina might be good enough to earn the Bulldogs that final postseason spot, but to be certain, Defiance needs to upset 7-1 Lima Bath on Friday. That will be a lot more difficult.
If we're on the off track episode, if we want to
Yeah.
backtrack a division,
Okay.
I fixated on Turpin for some reason. The team that is playing Lima Senior,
Potentially.
potentially. Lima Senior, as you noted, Spartans. Turpin is also Spartans.
Double Spartans, baby.
And their yearbook is called the Odyssey, which, why not?
I, I kind of like that.
It's good. It's on theme. A little conflicting, but who cares? And it's an area of Cincinnati named after, I assume, the location it's in, which is a census designated place,
Ooh,
non-incorporated, called Turpin Hill,
I
named
did not know
after
that.
a road that they had a naming contest for a while back in the day that was bought by a family whose last name was Turpin. So there you go.
We never have opportunities around here to buy road and street names. I kind of
Eh.
like that.
It might have been the land itself that was up for sale, but either way, the family bought it. Their last name was Turpin. They named the region after the family who owned the land.
All
And
right.
now we have Turpin Spartans ready to
Yeah.
play in the playoffs.
Let's hope no one at that high school, their 4 years traveling through high school, is anything like the actual Odyssey.
Oh boy. No, nobody wants that.
Anyway, after all that, Rebecca, I think it's time we take another break and we go straight into our scores of the week.
Let's do it.
Scores of the week.
I'm taking a little different track on these scores of the week this week, Rebecca. Maybe we'll call it our streaks of the week. How about that?
I really hope you mean like scoring streaks, like 5 touchdowns in a row, not like this team had a streaker at halftime.
That hasn't really happened much since the 70s, I don't believe.
And that's for the best. We don't need more of them.
No, we do not. So, first of all, in a game that was on TV, I believe, so probably did not have a streaker, we had Wapakoneta 37, Kenton 6. And this makes it because it is the 24th straight Western Buckeye League win for Wapakoneta. We'll move on next to Liberty Benton, beat Lipsick 52-0. And by the way, Lipsick was undefeated, I believe, going into this game.
Ooh, okay.
But this is the
Wow.
20 this makes 21 straight Blanchard Valley Conference wins for Liberty Benton.
I mean, Liberty Benton, part of the Liberty League. We love them. 52 to nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Our next game, oh, that's another score just like that, Rebecca. Paulding 50, Hicksville nothing.
Those are not enjoyable games to watch. I'm so sorry.
No, but it is Paulding's first season where they reached 8 wins since 1991. So great year for Paulding. I seem to recall we may have heard that from Van Wright back in the preview show to look out for Paulding this year.
Let's check out the notes. Van Wert likes them. He thinks they could be pushed to greater heights and that they'll do well. So
Okay.
I'd say, yeah,
Eight knows pretty well. Yep.
they knows pretty well. Now, is that better than probably playoff where we ranked them before in the middle of the pack? Probably.
So yes, we'll have to wait till we get to that region, but that by page ahead in my notes, Paulding already in the playoffs. So there we
There you
go.
go.
Our next score, Columbus Grove 38, Convoy Crestview 0. Another 0 game, Rebecca.
Mm,
This, however, is 24 straight Northwest Conference wins for Columbus Grove, who still needs to win one of 2 toss-up games to make the playoffs because Columbus Grove did very poorly in their non-conference games at the start of the year.
yep. And I'm guessing Convoy Crestview did not give them a ton of points.
Convoy Crestview is 5-3, so yes, did give them many points.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I guess the good news for Columbus Grove, the bad news is they have 2 tough games that they have to win one up. The good news is they're both NWC games and they have won 24 straight of those, right?
True. True, true, true. True, 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 true.
As I recall, that is Lima Central Catholic and Bluffton who await not easy games.
No, not at all. Fingers crossed, but it's not looking good.
Our next score, Van Loo 32, Dayton Jefferson 28.
Not a blowout. Okay.
Van Loo snaps a 22-game losing streak by defeating 0-2 Dayton Jefferson.
0-2?
0-2.
0-2.
And I see they are scheduled with 2 more open dates. So I think Dayton Jefferson's season is over at 0-2.
Something tells me all credit to Van Loo. Maybe them snapping the losing streak wasn't entirely due to their skill.
Possibly. Quite possibly.
Maybe
If I recall,
Jefferson
Dayton
might be
Jefferson,
struggling.
I recall Jefferson did not field a team last year, maybe not the team before, and people didn't really think they were going to this year, but they have made it to a couple of games.
I mean, props to them for trying. 0-2.
Yeah.
Yikes.
By the way, Van Loo's first victory since August 25th, 2023.
When you say it in dates, it sounds worse.
Okay, I have 2 more for you, Rebekah.
This is a lot of scores of the week, Dad.
Yes, it is. Marion Local 28, Anna 27 in double overtime.
Goodness gracious. Okay.
Game-wise, Marion Local stopped Anna's 2-point conversion pass in the second overtime. I was listening to the end on the radio. Marion was scoring much easier than Anna, so I fully agreed with Anna's decision to go for 2 and try to end it on the spot. Just did not pan out. Now, as a side note, there was some team in Guam who had an 85-game winning streak but lost on Friday. So I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the Flyers now own the longest winning streak on the planet in high school football.
We track football stats in Guam? Guam plays American football?
Well, it's a American something or another protectorate. I forget what the official terminology is for Guam.
In Micronesia, why do they have enough land for a football field?
Guam's not a small place. They have enough land. And I'm sure they also still have a large American military base there.
True. That would do it. Okay. Wild. Okay.
I've noticed Joe Idle tracking some other high school football scores in countries around Europe and stuff, and most of the town names line up with places I recognize as where there's an Air Force base or something like that. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Our final score of the week involves 2 teams we don't normally track, but I found this one extra intriguing. New London beat Ashland Mapleton 6-4. So it sounds like, I don't know if that was 2 field goals or a touchdown for New London. I didn't look it up, but that's definitely 2 safeties for Ashland Mapleton. This was the first game in Ohio with a 6-4 score since October 18th, 1985. And don't ask me who tracks that, but somebody does. When Parma Normandy beat Garfield Heights 6-4. And I found extra intriguing about this is 2 weeks before that, so October 4th, 1985, that same Garfield Heights team that lost 6-4 lost 7-4 to Parma Senior. So they had 2 games within 2 weeks of each other where they scored 2 safeties and lost.
They knew how to do safeties and not much else. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope your sister Alex is listening. She loves weird little number scores like 6-4 and 7-4 like that.
Sure.
All right, let's get back to it here. I probably broke those out a little early. I could have let that wait a little longer, but since we just done Wapakoneta's region and they were one of the scores, we put it there.
Sounds like we could have put them in any region with how many scores there were.
We probably could have, yep. Division 3, Region 12. Top 7 teams in this region have earned playoff berths. There are 11 teams still alive to claim the other 5 spots. We'll start with number 2, Tip City Tippecanoe. Secures a top 2 seed and probably an undefeated season with a win over 7-1 Troy. Even if they lose this game, Tippecanoe should drop no lower than 4th place, which still gets them that opening round bye. A little more intriguing is number 13 Bell Fountain, currently 1 spot below the cut line. They need to survive against 2-6 Urbana, and that will give them a 1-5 chance at the playoffs. Or They could just upset 7-1 Jonathan Alder in week 10 to safely qualify for the postseason, but that's going to be tough. In Division 4, Region 14, it's the infamous other half of the WBL and others region. We'll start with Lima Bath is number 3 right now. Number 4, Napoleon, are 2 of the 5 teams to have secured their playoff berths in this region. There are 15 squads still fighting for the other 7 invitations. We'll start with that 7-1 Lima Bath team. They locked up a home playoff game with a 49-35 win over 2-6 Salina. Salina is kind of famous for having a good offense and a iffy defense this year, and it kind of showed in this game. A win for Lima Bath over 4-4 Defiance earns the Wildcats a first-round bye in the playoffs. A loss means the Wildcats still have a 2/3 chance at a top 4 finish, even if they fail to upset Wapakoneta in that big Week 10 WBL championship game.
2/3 is not feeling warm and fuzzy at this point in the season.
Now, it feels better than 1/3, but still.
Yeah. But you'd really rather it be one of those 99 percenters.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look at that. Speaking of which, 6-2 Napoleon is 99% sure to play their first playoff game at home.
Good.
A win over 5-3 Fremont Ross should give the Wildcats an opening round bye. A win over just 4-4 Toledo Waite in Week 10 makes that bye about a 50-50 proposition. So a win this week should get them the bye. Next week makes it... That's a technical term.
Yeah, we'll put it in the dictionary.
Number 11, Van Wert's playoff hopes hinge on their game against 5-3 Lima Shawnee, since they're not going to have many points available from their Week 10 matchup with 1-7 Kenton. It would take a lot of good luck to survive a loss in this week's game for Van Wert, so Van Wert really needs this victory. Number 14, Ben Logan only has a 25% chance at the playoffs if they defeat both 4-4 Springfield Northwestern and winless Springfield Shawnee as expected their final 2 games. So all they can do is win out and hope for some luck. Number 18, Elida probably needs an upset of 8-0 Wapakoneta to make the postseason. Yeah, they're going to need some luck too. Wapakoneta is looking strong. With that upset, they would probably earn a 12 seed. If they lose to Wapakoneta, but then upset 5-3 St. Mary's, it probably leaves Elida just short of the top 12, somewhere around 13 or 14. So big game for Elida this week. In Division 4, Region 16, we have number 14, Urbana. They survived for now with a 28-21 upset win over 5-3 Kenton Ridge. They have a expected even matchup this week with 4-4 Bellefontaine. A win there makes the postseason likely for Urbana. So another team with a big game this week.
I feel like that wasn't a expected outcome a couple weeks ago, so that's nice.
No, Urbana's been picking it up here the last week or two.
Yeah, good for them.
And on to the Liberty region, Division 5,
Liberty!
Region 18. It's going to sound familiar again this week, Rebekah.
Did they both win and they're both still not number 1 and 2? Is that what's happening?
Correct. We have number 1 Liberty Center and now up 2 spots, number 4 Liberty Benton.
All right. Well, we got 1 and number 1. Liberty Benton, that was still not quite up to the 2 spot. All right.
Not yet. These are still the only 2 undefeated teams remaining in the region.
Sure.
They won by a combined score of 91-0 last Friday.
Of course
over over opponents who had a combined 11-5 record.
Ridiculous.
This week's opponents have a combined 3-13 record, so that 91-0 could get a lot worse.
It could get worse. Okay.
Liberty Center has secured a first-round bye and should end up as the number 1 seed. Liberty Benton should finish 10-0, but I still think they only have a 78% chance to stay in the top 4 and earn a first-round bye. Just not the strength of schedule for Liberty Benton. We'll move a little south here in Division 5 into Region 20. Top 8 teams have secured their playoff spots. At least 4 spots open. There are 10 teams still alive with a chance to claim those 4 positions. Number 2, Miami East is a big favorite in their final 2 games, which should give the Vikings a number 3 seed. Not that many points in those games. That's why they're such a big favorite. But 3 seed gives Miami East an opening round bye, so that'll be nice. Number 5, St. Paris Graham fell 3 spots after defeating a winless squad. I kind of like the idea of not naming the winless squads anymore. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
A big game for Graham awaits against number 7 Indian Lake. Indian Lake, by the way, is now officially playoff bound also. If Graham wins this game, they should get a first round bye and possibly a number 1 seed. But they probably drop out of the top 4 with a loss. So big game for positioning for Graham. Same with Indian Lake. They look like a top 4 finisher with a win and down into the top 8 with a loss. So still hosting a playoff game, but not getting that first round bye if they lose this week. Number 9 in the standings, Arcanum is likely in the postseason. They're one of those teams at the 99 plus or whatever % chance of being in. A win over either 6-2 Ansonia or 8-0 Tri-Village should get the Tigers a number 8 seed. I think that it said a win in one game gets them a 60% chance of rising up into the top 8. 2 wins had beaten Ansonia and Tri-Village both is going to be quite the accomplishment. But 2
not
wins,
an easy ask.
no, would assure them of a home game. So they'd definitely be in the top 8. West Liberty Salem is number 10. And they have 2 7-1 teams, West Jefferson and Mechanicsburg, remaining on their schedule. The Tigers are likely to slip into the number 12 seed, even with 2 losses. Might be a little iffy on that last week, but a win in either game locks up the playoffs and makes a home game possible for West Liberty Salem. And number 11, Versailles. They could be ranked much higher, except they have suffered 3 losses by 2 points or less now. One of those teams, Drew Pasteur's computer, rates the Tigers as the best team in this region, but also says they need to defeat either 5-3 Coldwater or 7-1 St. Henry just to make the playoffs. Should they win both games, that could result in a home postseason opener. I've seen both teams. You never know with Coldwater. They can go either way. They can be beatable or not. St. Henry looks tough, though. Moving down to Division 6, Region 22. The top 7 teams are in the playoffs, including number 4 Sherwood Fairview, who is newly playoff bound.
Good
12
for them.
teams are 12 teams are still fighting for the final 5 postseason invitations here. For the teams we follow, it breaks up nicely. 3 teams are in, 5 are alive, and 5 are out of contention. So again, we got
Okay.
a fairly even symmetry thing going here.
A kind of symmetry, yeah.
We'll start with 7-1 Sherwood Fairview. They are heavily favored in their final 2 games, which would assure the Apaches of a home game and an outside chance of that opening round bye for finishing in the top 4. Number 5, Paulding earns a home playoff game and a 50% chance at a first round bye if they win what looks like a toss-up game against 4-4 Defiance Tenora. Even with the loss, it looks good for Paulding to finish in the top 8 and get that home playoff game. Number 6, Bluffton is a large favorite to defeat 3-5 Allen East, which would secure their home playoff game. If they could combine that with a Week 10 win over 5-3 Columbus Grove, that would give the Pirates an opening round bye. By the way, we just mentioned Allen East there. They are 19th right now. They need to upset Bluffton and then beat 1-7 Fort Laramie just to have a 1-5 chance at the playoffs.
Okay.
Drake Henry, number 11, maybe a little closer to that cut line than I would have predicted at the start of the year. They dropped 5 positions after a 22-21 loss to 7-1 Archbold. So close to gaining all kinds of points there.
Yeah, that's a lot of consequences for a 1-point loss.
Yep. It looks like the Patriots should win out, though, and then in that case, they would end up probably with the number 8 seed. So they look securely in the playoffs. possibly with a home game. Number 13, Van Buren plays 1-7 Elmwood this week. Not many computer points there. That means the Black Knights will also need to upset 8-0 Liberty Benton in Week 10 if they want to make the playoffs. The same story pretty much applies to number 16 Convoy Crestview, who needs to upset 8-0 Lima Central Catholic in Week 10. Whether or not they win this week's game against 1-7 Spencerville. And finally, we have at number 17, Defiance Tenora. Started slow, been winning consistently since then. They probably sneak into the playoffs with a mild upset of 8-0 Paulding. That seems wrong that beating 8-0 Paulding would only be considered a mild upset, but that's what Drew Pasteur's computer says. If they can combine that with a Week 10 win over 5-3 Edgerton, that should lock up the number 12 seed for Tenora. Not going to be easy, but it is doable. And in Region 24 of Division 6, we have 7 teams here who have secured playoff games, the top 7 teams, as a matter of fact. 12 teams are still able to grab one of the final 5 remaining postseason spots. We'll start with Mechanicsburg. Jumped 6 positions into the top seed with a 21-14 win over 7-1 West Jefferson. Yeah, Indians are now locked into the top 8 and are a touchdown favorite over 7-1 Northeastern. A win either this week against that 7-1 Northeastern squad or next week over 5-3 West Liberty Salem locks up a first-round bye for Mechanicsburg. Too bad. Just have to win 1 or 2 to get that bye. Number 5, Coldwater should still hold on to a spot in the top 8 and a home playoff game, even if they would lose to both 4-4 Versailles and 8-0 Marion Local. Defeating Versailles gives the Cavaliers a 40% chance of an opening round bye. Beating Marion Local, of course, just pretty much gives them that without any worries at all.
Right. And, normally I'd say that's an impossible ask, but Marion Local's had some real close games recently.
As a little bit of flirting with disaster over there for the Flyers lately, huh?
Yeah, it feels doable.
Number 6, Tri-Village fell 2 places for the second week in a row after defeating a winless opponent. A home game is almost guaranteed and a first-round bye 99% assured with a win over either 8-0 Preble Shawnee or 7-1 Arcanum. Boy, there's the end of the season, huh? 8-0 and 7-1 for your opponents.
That's not an easy end. Good training for the playoffs, I guess.
I like that. Good training for the playoffs, especially if you can get that first round bye to rest up after you play those 2 games before the playoff game starts.
Yeah.
We'll move on to number 11, Anna. Their matchup against 5-3 Fort Recovery should determine the Rockets' playoff positioning. With a victory, Anna likely moves into the top 8 and hosts a playoff game. Loss ends hopes for a home game, but I think an invitation to the postseason should still arrive for Anna. Number 13, Covington. At the start of the season, I really thought we'd be done talking about Covington by now, but they have won 4 games in a row. The Buccaneers are favored over 2-6 Milton Union, but will probably need a Week 10 win over 7-1 Sidney Lehman to reach the postseason. Not definitely, but probably. And number 15, Lima Perry needs 2 mild upsets over 4-4 Marion Elgin and 4-4 Ridgedale. Yeah, if they get those, they then have a 40% chance to make the playoffs. That's 2 difficult games, and then you're still just hoping.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Division 7. I always have to psych myself up to get going here on Region 26.
Gotta really get hyped.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about, or
lots
of energy required?
A little bit of both. Although we are now up to 7 teams we follow are out of playoff contention in this region, so
that helps.
A few less to talk about. It helps us, doesn't do much for them. Yeah. Only 4 playoff spots have been claimed in this region, though. And there are 16 teams who still have a chance to claim one of the 8 remaining playoff positions.
Okay.
So You'll notice we have a lot more teams here with a chance than we have teams who have locked up their playoff spot. We'll start with number one, Lima Central Catholic, though. They face two 5-3 teams, Columbus Grove and Convoy Crestview. The Thunderbirds should finish in the top three, even with two losses. That's got to be a nice warm feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah, very good.
No one
Better
wants to
than
go into.
most.
You don't want to go into the playoffs on a 2-game losing streak. Still,
No, 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 no. Oh, it's up there on how you'd feel at the end of the playoffs.
if Lima Central Catholic can defeat one of these two teams, they should secure the number one seed in this region. You notice on my little chart up there, Lima Central Catholic, a lot more computer points than the other teams we track. They have a
Just say
nice
a lot more
cushion up there at
purple.
the top.
But yeah, it's a good batch of points. As I say, although it's hard to say they've got a lot of points when the scale is so small. They've got
Yeah.
13 whole points, but the next
13
team
whole.
has 9.
Yeah.
So
If we look at the actual, because we're missing two teams here that we do not cover. Lima Central Catholic 13.9. Second place is undefeated North Baltimore with 11.97. So that's doing the math, about a 15% cushion. Not too shabby.
not too shabby.
All right. The number 4 place team we cover here is Leipzig. They are 7-1. As we mentioned, our scores of the week, they lost. Really, really bad last week.
Oh no. Yeah, you're right.
Now I have to look it up because I've forgotten.
Is it one of the zeros?
Leipzig lost to Liberty Benton 52-0. Yes.
You know
For their
that's in your
first loss
notes
of the
right
year.
there, right?
It is? Well,
Yeah,
you'd think
you've
I would
put
know
the
these
score
things.
of the previous game in the script now.
Oh, so I have. Yeah, it's right there. How about that? Anyway, there was probably a reason I did that, so I wouldn't have to look backwards to find these things. It would be right in front of my eyes.
Probably.
Anyway, Leipzig, a 4-touchdown favorite over 5-3 Ada in week 10. And that game should earn the Vikings a top 4 seed. This Friday, they play 6-2 Arlington. A win there would make a first round bye even more likely. And wins in both games makes it inevitable. I like inevitable.
Inevitable. Inevitable.
Only 4 syllables, but still a good word.
Yeah.
Currently ranked number 6 is Pandora Gilboa. They are also a 4-touchdown favorite over Ada this Friday. Sounds like a tough 2 weeks for Ada to me.
Yeah, not a preferred one.
This win would get the Rockets into the playoffs and probably a home game. Number 8, Arlington is a huge favorite in week 10, and that should be enough to secure a playoff berth. A mild upset Friday over 7-1 Leipzig would earn the Red Devils a home postseason game. Number 10, Waynesfield Goshen rose into the top 12 after a 33-9 victory over 4-4 Lima Perry. The Tigers have 50-50 type games remaining against 4-4 Ridgedale and 4-4 Ridgemont. So heading for the Ridges here to finish the season. Both wins are needed to clinch a playoff berth, although just one victory makes the postseason 80% likely for the Tigers. At number 13, we have that Ada team. As we mentioned, 4-touchdown underdogs in their final 2 games. Obviously, if they're 13th now, they're going to need at least one win. One win would give them better than a 50-50 chance to qualify for the postseason. But one win is not going to be easy in those 2 games. Number 16, Columbus Grove, clawing their way back from that 0-3 start. They've won 5 games in a row, but they're still 4 places out of the playoffs right now. I like to say they are the Versailles of Region 26, considered the best team in the region by Drew Pasteur's computer. The Bulldogs also, like Versailles, need a win over either 8-0 Lima Central Catholic or 7-1 Bluffton to crack the top 12.
Okay.
This is not the easiest region to make the playoffs in, and I think we've mentioned that a
Yeah.
few times since before the season started.
I'm not the optimism, well, The likelihood of me seeing all that fun toilet paper in the main square of Columbus Grove is going down by the week, I think.
Come to think of it, I just went through Columbus Grove this week, but we didn't go through the square. We took the road that skirts the town. What is that, 65 or something
Right.
like that? Yeah. In the 18th position, Ridgemont needs to sweep first winless Corey Rawson and then 5-3 Waynesfield Goshen. That would give them a 2% chance to make the playoffs. Not much, really.
Oh
But
no.
just enough we still had to talk about. Number 20, Upper Soto Valley also needs a sweep, but they play 8-0 North Baltimore in week 10, which is difficult, but also means there's enough computer points available that a win should get them into the playoffs. Both a blessing and a curse having an 8-0 team on the schedule yet to end the season.
Lots of possibilities if you can pull it off.
And we're going to move it to our team of the week next.
Team of the week. Ba, ba, ba. Our team never seems so good. So good, so good, so good. Team of the week. Ba, ba, ba. We believed we always would.
Team of the week.
I thought for a while Friday night that Anna was going to be our team of the week because almost by default, whoever ends that Marion local win streak is going to be the team of the week.
Yeah, 100%. 1,000%.
But keeping with our MAC theme in recent weeks, we will instead honor the 5-3 New Bremen Cardinals. Over at New Bremen, they were probably disappointed in their loss to rival Minster the week before, but they rose to the challenge and defeated Coldwater 16-7. This was the Cardinals' first win over Coldwater since 1997, breaking a 23-game losing streak to the Cavaliers. So, congratulations for getting that monkey off their back in New Bremen. That also makes New Bremen playoff bound while we're at it, too. So, a good week for New Bremen.
I'm glad Minster didn't knock them out entirely. It's always good to see them in the playoffs.
Those two may see each other again. We shall see. It's going to be close. Moving down to Division 7, Region 28. The top 8 teams are safely in the playoffs, so there's only 4 spots left and only 8 teams with a chance to gain one of those 4 spots. There really wasn't a lot of movement in the standings. As Rebekah takes a look here, the top 8 teams we follow in this region all won.
Oh boy, howdy. We only follow 11 teams.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
the bottom 3 did not win. That tends to go that way this time of year. Okay, we'll start with Marion Local, currently number 1. If they lose their last 2 games, there is a 1% chance they could fall all the way to number 2. So I think we can safely pencil in Marion Local as the number 1 seed in this region. Number 3, St. Henry, I believe, fell a spot this week as they defeated a winless team. That tends to happen. They still have to play 5-3 New Bremen and 4-4 Versailles, but they are a 3-touchdown favorite in each game. As I said, St. Henry's been looking good this season. 2 victories should give the Redskins the number 2 seed. St. Henry should earn a first-round bye in the playoffs with a win in either game. But if they lose them both, they could fall down to number 5 or number 6. So it would behoove St. Henry to win at least one of these games. For team of the week, number 7, New Bremen. Their final seeding will depend on this week's game at 7-1 St. Henry. A win earns the Cardinals a home playoff game. A loss means an opening round road trip. They'll be somewhere 9-12. Number 8, Minster. They can earn themselves a home game with an upset of 8-0 Marion Local. I looked, not, even though there's a ton of points in beating Marion Local, not enough to get them fighting for a top 4 spot. But they could get a home playoff game. If the Wildcats lose to Marion Local, then a win against 5-3 Fort Recovery will probably let Minster start the playoffs at home with a number 8 seed. Though that's close. That's one of those that's going to depend on what everyone else does in week 10. Currently number 9, Ansonia, likely in the playoffs. Not guaranteed, but awfully close. A win in a fairly even matchup against 7-1 Arcanum should earn the Tigers a home start to the postseason, so should get them into the top 8. Number 10, Fort Recovery has games remaining at 5-3 Anna and against 5-3 Minster. So those records tell you they're winnable games, but not easily winnable. 2 wins likely earns the Indians a number 8 seed in a home playoff game. 1 win almost guarantees a playoff berth, probably as the number 11 seed. 2 losses, according to Drew Pasteur's computer, still leaves Fort Recovery 87% likely to claim that 12th and final playoff spot. Number 11, Sidney Lehman, is likely in the playoffs also right now. The Cavaliers are favored over 2 4-4 teams, DeGraff, Riverside, and Covington. Both victories make a home playoff game, I'd say more likely than not, greater than a 50% chance of finishing in the top 8. For 14, DeGraff, Riverside needs to upset both 7-1 Sidney Lehman and 7-1 Miami East to make the playoffs. They are 30-plus point underdogs at each game. So that's going to be very difficult for Riverside to make the postseason. Number 15, Miss Seminole Valley also needs 2 wins over 2-6 Tri-County North and 6-2 Ansonia. Also not going to be easy, but probably a little more doable. And that brings us into our 8-man competition here, Rebekah, where things are starting to clear up a little bit. Sandusky St. Mary clinched their spot in the playoffs with a 32-8 win over winless Oregon Cardinal Stritch. So they're in the playoffs. Only 4 other teams are still alive for the other 3 postseason spots. And what's interesting, those 4 teams all play one of the other teams this week.
So we should get some pretty clear definition?
I would think the 2 winners are probably in, and the 2 losers will have to fight it out next week. Yeah. These 2 games are 7-1 Lakeside Danbury plays 6-2 Fremont St. Joseph, and 6-1 Southington Chalker plays 4-3 Holgate. So those first 3 all have 1 conference loss. Holgate has 2 conference losses. So playoff picture will be much, much clearer after those 2 games next week. And that wraps it up pretty smoothly, Rebekah. We didn't do as bad as I thought we might do this week. All right. I'm always such a negative Nelly. I'm so negative, I tell you.
That's you for sure. Mr. Negative Nelly.
Next week's the big week for the podcast. Next week, there'll only be 1 game left. We'll be able to tell you for everyone, here's what happens, win or lose, most likely, huh?
That's the episode of tension.
Yes.
It's the important one to get out early so people can start conspiracy theorying.
I have next weekend both to get started earlier and finish later. So I'll have to see how that goes.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll look forward to next week's episode. But in the meantime, this was Bruce Monnin's Computer Points. And as always, we ask you to please like and subscribe to this podcast on your favorite streaming platform. You can also rate and review this show on those very same platforms. Any comments or questions can be sent to us by email to bdmonnin@nktelco.net or submitted on X/Twitter to @BruceMonnin, where it may be used on a future episode if you so like. Or you can place your thoughts in the comment section of the YouTube video in which you had your thought. We will be looking out for those, or really on any platform that allows comments. We are, of course, on Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Search for Bruce Monnin's Computer Points. Make sure you've got the 2025 episodes, and you should be good to go.
Quick search today of our Spotify and YouTube accounts seems to show we're holding steady. We're not gaining listeners as we would like, but we're not losing any either. We seem to have a core audience who's sticking with us. So thank you for all sticking with us. We appreciate it. Gives us an excuse to keep doing this. And I get to see my daughter, Rebekah, every week, if only here over the computer, right?
Yeah, I guess that'll have to count.
So anyway, thank you all for listening, and please tune in next week, because next week's the big one. So long, everybody.